You wake up, still half asleep, maybe rubbing your eyes, stretching your body, and then you feel it, that tightness in your throat, that strange sensation like something is stuck. Maybe it's a dry cough, maybe it's that constant clearing of your throat that you've gotten used to over the years. You chalk it up to dry air, to aging, to just how your mornings are. You head to the kitchen, and like every other day, you drink a glass of cold water. Or maybe it's coffee first, or a quick pill with juice. You don't even think about it. But what you've just done, without realizing it, is one of the biggest triggers for your reflux. As a stomach doctor, I've seen this pattern far too many times, and the consequences are always the same. That one decision made in the first 5 minutes of your day is quietly feeding your acid reflux. And for people over 50, the impact is far more damaging than you might expect. Mornings matter, especially when it comes to digestion. See, after a full night's sleep, your body is not instantly ready to process food, liquid, or medication. It's transitioning from rest mode to active mode, and your stomach is no exception. The muscles are slower, the digestive enzymes are not fully active, and most importantly, the lower esophageal sphincter, the muscle valve that prevents acid from rising up into your throat, is still vulnerable. When you introduce certain substances too early, especially in large amounts or with high acidity, you create internal pressure before your system is ready to handle it. And that pressure forces acid upward. It's not something you'll feel instantly, but over time, the damage adds up. Your morning ritual becomes a daily assault on your digestive system, and yet you never realize it's the cause of your discomfort. Let me paint a familiar picture. You're in your 50s or 60s. You've lived through decades of stress, busy mornings, and grab-and-go breakfasts. You might have even been told that a strong cup of coffee is the best way to wake up your body. But here's what happens when that coffee hits an empty, unprepared stomach. The high temperature irritates your esophageal lining. The acidity stimulates excess stomach acid production. And without any food to buffer it, the acid has nowhere to go but up, especially if you're drinking while standing or sitting in a slouched position. And if you add a common medication, like a multivitamin, a painkiller, or even an anti-inflammatory, into the mix, that's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Many of these substances are harsh on the stomach lining and, when taken in a fasted state, can erode the very tissue that's trying to protect you. Now, you might say, but I've always done this. Isn't it too late to change? No, and here's why. Reflux doesn't happen overnight. It builds, and just as it built slowly, it can be reversed, step by step, habit by habit. But first, you need to understand how your body changes as you age. After 50, your esophageal sphincter, that little valve that's supposed to keep acid down, becomes weaker. Your body produces less saliva, which normally helps neutralize acid, and your stomach takes longer to digest. That means any irritation you cause in the morning lingers longer, burns deeper, and does more damage than it did when you were younger. And yet, most people continue repeating the same routine, not because they're careless, but because no one ever told them. No one explained that their morning symptoms, the raspy voice, the dry throat, the sour taste after brushing your teeth, weren't normal. They're warning signs. Let me share a story. George, 62, came to my office complaining of constant throat clearing and post-nasal drip. He had been to ENT specialists, allergy doctors, and even dentists, all with no clear diagnosis. When I asked him about his morning habits, he said, "I wake up, take my meds with coffee, and eat later when I get hungry." That routine had been silently worsening his reflux for years. He had no chest pain, no obvious heartburn, but his larynx was inflamed. His esophagus showed early signs of irritation. And the cause? His own habits. We changed one thing, his morning routine. No more coffee on an empty stomach. No more medications without a small snack. He started with a warm glass of water, and half a banana. Within 10 days, his throat felt better. Within 3 weeks, his voice was clearer. He said, "I thought this was just aging. I didn't know I was making myself worse." And that's the message I want to bring to you. You might not feel pain. You might not even think you have reflux. But if you're waking up every day with throat symptoms, hoarseness, cough, or discomfort, there's a good chance your morning routine is contributing. Even a single habit, like gulping water too fast or drinking acidic beverages before eating, can gradually erode your defenses. And over the years, that silent wear and tear becomes a serious condition, one that leads to esophagitis, scarring, difficulty swallowing, or worse, Barrett's esophagus. But here's the hope. Your body is still listening. It wants to heal, and all it needs is for you to stop the assault, to change the pattern, to give it the care it deserves, especially in those first 30 minutes of your day. In the next part, we'll reveal the exact morning mistake that most people over 50 make, and why it seems harmless, even healthy. We'll explore the hidden science behind what happens when your stomach receives the wrong signal too early, and how that moment can define your entire digestive day. So don't go anywhere. If you've ever thought, "Mornings are just rough for me," or "It's probably just allergies," you'll want to hear what's coming next. Because the truth is, your body is speaking to you, and mornings are when it whispers the loudest. If this video helped you understand your morning habits better, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. And if you're on this journey to heal your digestion, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. You wake up, and your day begins like it always does. You head straight to the kitchen, reach for a glass, and pour yourself a tall drink of cold water. Or maybe you go straight for the coffee pot, that rich aroma pulling you in like a magnet. You sip it slowly or chug it fast, depending on the rush. Maybe you grab a few pills, your usual morning supplements or medications, and then you're off, into the rhythm of your day. It feels like routine. It feels normal, but it's not harmless. What you just did, especially if you're over 50, may have just set the stage for hours of discomfort, silent inflammation, and digestive imbalance. And if you've been doing it for years, the effects go deeper than you think. Let's talk about the real morning mistake: flooding your stomach with acidity or volume before your digestive system is awake enough to handle it. Your body doesn't flip on like a light switch. It transitions, and during that transition, your gut is in a fragile, semi-dormant state, the worst time to overwhelm it. The two most common culprits: drinking large volumes of liquid right after waking, and consuming coffee or acidic substances on an empty stomach. Let's start with the water. Now, don't get me wrong, hydration is essential, but the way you hydrate matters. When you pour a large amount of cold water into your stomach immediately after waking up, especially if you drink it quickly, you're doing more harm than good. You're shocking your digestive system. You're diluting your stomach acid, which it desperately needs to start digestion. And worse, you're causing sudden gastric expansion, which increases internal pressure and forces the lower esophageal sphincter to open. This opening is exactly what allows acid to climb up your esophagus. Now imagine doing that every single morning for the past 5 years. For someone in their 20s or 30s, the body might absorb the damage more gracefully. But for someone over 50, things are different. The sphincter that protects your esophagus has already lost some tone with age. Your production of digestive enzymes has slowed. Your gut's ability to repair damage is no longer as fast or efficient. So this seemingly innocent act, drinking a lot of water right after waking, becomes a daily chemical and mechanical assault. But water isn't the only villain in disguise. Let's talk about coffee. For many, it's non-negotiable. That first cup feels like life itself. But here's what most people don't know. Coffee is highly acidic, especially when consumed black and hot. When it hits your empty stomach, it triggers a sharp spike in stomach acid production. And with no food present, to buffer the acid, the lining of your stomach and the entrance to your esophagus take the full hit. The caffeine, too, plays a role. It relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, making it even easier for acid to travel upward. That's why so many people experience that odd burn or sour taste shortly after their first cup, and think it's just part of being older. It's not. It's your body telling you that the system is under attack. Now layer that with medications. Many people over 50 take morning pills, anti-inflammatories, blood pressure meds, thyroid hormones, supplements, multivitamins, and many of these, especially NSAIDs and vitamin C, are acidic or irritating to the stomach lining, especially when taken without food. Combine that with coffee or a belly full of cold water, and you've created a perfect storm. Let me tell you about Diane. She was 58, fit, active, and generally healthy. But she had been struggling with a constant dry cough, tightness in her chest, and what she described as a feeling of pressure in her throat. Her ENT found nothing abnormal. Her lungs were clear. She was sent from doctor to doctor, with no answers. In our consultation, I asked her to walk me through her morning. Her response? I get up, drink water, take my meds, and enjoy my coffee on the balcony. Breakfast comes later, around mid-morning. That one routine, done with care and intention, was at the root of her reflux. She was unknowingly activating all the wrong triggers before her digestive system had even woken up. We made 3 small changes. She started her day with a few sips of room-temperature water instead of a full glass. She took her medications with a small slice of banana or a spoonful of yogurt. And she moved her coffee to after breakfast. Within 2 weeks, her symptoms were 70% better. Within a month, they were gone. This isn't a coincidence. This is biology, and it's proof that how you start your day shapes your entire digestive experience. There's also a psychological layer to this. Most people believe they're doing the right thing. Drinking water first thing? That's what all the wellness blogs say. Coffee on an empty stomach? That's how you wake up your metabolism. But what works in theory or for younger bodies doesn't always translate well for those over 50. You need to adapt, not because you're broken, but because your body is evolving. Think about your stomach as a gatekeeper. In the early morning, the gate is barely open. The guards are still stretching and yawning. If you send in a flood, cold water, hot coffee, medications, you don't empower them. You overwhelm them. You bypass the natural rhythm your body wants to follow. And the result is dysfunction, inflammation, and acid where it doesn't belong. But here's the most important part. It's not too late to change. Even if you've been repeating this habit for years, your gut has the ability to recover and rebalance. All it needs is for you to stop repeating the insult and start offering gentle, consistent support. Think warmth, think softness, think gradual. Start your day with room temperature fluids in small amounts. Add a bite of something alkaline, like a piece of banana, a spoon of oats, or a slice of apple, before coffee or pills. Delay that first acidic beverage until your system is ready. And above all, be consistent. Because healing isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. In the next part, we'll explore how to make these changes without disrupting your entire morning routine. You won't need to give up your coffee or overhaul your lifestyle. You'll just need to reorder a few simple steps. I'll show you exactly how to protect your stomach from the moment you wake up, so you can still enjoy your mornings, just without the acid. Have you ever noticed your reflux getting worse after certain morning routines? Share your story below. Your comment might help someone else too. And make sure to subscribe if you want more simple, practical tips for your health. You've made it this far, and now you understand something most people never do. Your mornings have more power over your digestive health than you ever imagined. And the habits you've practiced for years, waking up, downing a cold glass of water, taking your medications, and sipping coffee before a single bite of food, might be the very things that are quietly fueling your reflux. But now that you know the problem, what can you actually do about it? This is where most people feel overwhelmed. They think, do I have to give up coffee forever? Do I need a complicated new routine? Am I supposed to skip my medication? The answer to all of that is no. You don't have to give anything up. You just have to shift the order, the intensity, and the timing. And when you do, the transformation can be felt in just a matter of days. Let's begin with water, because hydration is critical, but not all hydration is created equal. Instead of starting your day with a large, cold glass, switch to room temperature water in smaller sips. Your stomach is still waking up. Pouring in a flood of cold water shocks the system, dilutes your stomach acid, and stretches your stomach walls, creating pressure that can open the sphincter and let acid escape. But taking a few gentle sips over a 10-15 minute period eases your stomach into the day, signaling hydration without the chemical chaos. Now, what about medication? So many of us are told to take pills first thing in the morning. And that can be true, but that doesn't always mean on an empty stomach. The secret is this: even a small bite of food, a banana slice, a spoonful of plain yogurt, or a bite of toast, can be enough to protect your stomach lining from irritation. If your medication allows it, and always check with your doctor or pharmacist, never take acid-sensitive pills without a food buffer. You're not weakening the medicine. You're strengthening your body's ability to tolerate it. And coffee? Let's be honest, very few people are willing to part with their morning cup. I wouldn't ask you to. What I will ask is this: wait 20 to 30 minutes after your first bite of food before having your coffee. That small shift creates a buffer in your stomach. It allows your digestive system to activate more naturally, coat the lining with mucus, and build the acid gradient in a safer, more stable way. It also drastically reduces the chance of triggering your reflux symptoms. Let me give you a real-life example. Thomas, 61, came to me with a story that felt familiar. He had started experiencing hoarseness in the mornings and assumed it was just post-nasal drip. After trying allergy medications and nasal sprays to no avail, he visited a specialist who found mild esophageal irritation. When I asked about his morning habits, he said, "I'm a creature of habit. I wake up, take my blood pressure meds with water, and go straight for coffee. I don't eat until an hour or two later." We made 3 tiny changes. First, he started the day with small sips of warm water, not a full glass. Second, he took his meds with a half banana. Third, he waited until after a light breakfast to have his coffee. No major overhaul, just strategic reordering. Within 2 weeks, his hoarseness disappeared. Within a month, his energy and sleep quality improved. He called it a morning routine that finally works with my body instead of against it. This is what I want you to understand. You don't need drastic lifestyle changes. You need digestive rhythm. And rhythm comes from listening. Start your morning with calm. No rushing. No flooding. Allow your stomach to warm up gently. Think of it like starting a car on a cold morning. You don't floor the gas pedal immediately. You ease into motion. You let the engine adjust. Your stomach deserves the same respect. You can also use simple rituals to support your stomach's readiness. For example, sitting upright or walking gently for the first 20 minutes after waking can help stimulate digestion without pressure. Avoid reclining or curling on the couch after that first glass of water. Let gravity assist your digestive system. And avoid multitasking while eating. Your nervous system needs to feel calm in order to trigger proper digestion. That's called the rest and digest state. When you eat under stress, or while checking your phone or emails, your body perceives a threat, and digestion suffers. Another overlooked tip: breathing. Deep, slow breaths before your first bite can signal safety to your body, activate your vagus nerve, and improve digestion. Just 5 deep breaths can reset your whole internal state. There are even foods you can include in your breakfast that naturally reduce inflammation and support the healing of your esophagus. Try adding a tablespoon of oatmeal, some papaya slices, or even a chamomile infusion. These foods aren't just gentle, they're medicinal when used consistently. All of these suggestions are simple, but their power is in their consistency. One good morning won't fix everything, but 10 good mornings? That's when the change begins. That's when your body starts to trust you again. Because ultimately, reflux is not just about acid. It's about timing, sequence, and respect for your system's rhythm. You've spent years unknowingly working against your stomach. Imagine what could happen if you started working with it. And that's what we'll dive into next. In the final part of this video, I'll show you what really happens inside your body when you keep ignoring this pattern. I'll walk you through the long-term consequences, some of which are completely silent but devastating. But don't worry, we'll also cover exactly what you can do to reverse the damage, even if you've struggled for years. You've already taken the first step by learning. Now it's time to understand the full picture, so you never feel trapped by your symptoms again. Was any part of this video a wake-up call for you? Let's talk in the comments. I read every one. And if you're ready to take your health one step further, hit that subscribe button and stay with us on this path. You've come a long way. You've uncovered the invisible patterns behind your morning routine, and you've learned that it's not about blame, it's about understanding. The truth is, your body has always been speaking to you. Through that tightness in your throat, that lingering cough, that strange feeling in your chest after coffee. These weren't random symptoms, they were signals, gentle warnings, invitations to pay attention. And the beautiful part? It's never too late to respond. Maybe for years you believed that aging came with discomfort, that your reflux was something you just had to live with. Maybe you thought medication was the only option, but now you've seen the other side. The side where awareness, rhythm, and a few mindful choices can begin to shift your reality. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're just now beginning to hear your body clearly, and it's ready to heal. Because when you honor your digestion, when you approach your mornings with gentleness, presence, and structure, your entire system responds. The throat clears, the burn fades, the heaviness lifts. Your energy changes, and that constant worry in the back of your mind, it starts to dissolve. But healing isn't an event, it's a rhythm. And rhythms take time, they take patience, they take trust. So start where you are, adjust what you can, and above all, be kind to yourself as you transition into a new relationship with your body. Thank you for being here, for choosing to understand yourself more deeply, and for trusting me to guide you through this process. It means more than you know. Every view, every minute of attention, every moment you choose to listen, it's powerful. And if this video helped you in any way, I invite you to stay with us on this journey. Because in the next video, we'll uncover the most dangerous foods people over 50 still eat on an empty stomach, and how they silently destroy your esophagus without causing obvious pain. It's not what you think, and once you see it, you'll never look at your breakfast the same way again. Click on the video now showing on your screen, and take the next step toward healing. Your body is waiting, and I'll be right there with you.